Where do we draw the line that separates art and performance as profanity and blasphemy? Kilala niyo ba to? Kung oo, maybe kilala niyo rin to.
Bitch, the goddess is here!
A drag queen is a person, usually a man, who for entertainment purposes imitates and frequently exaggerates feminine gender signifiers and gender roles using drag attire and makeup. Drag is practiced for a variety of reasons, from mainstream performance to self-expression. Live singing, dancing, and lip-syncing are common features of drag shows. Filipino drag performer Amadeus Fernando Pahente, better known by the stage name Pura Luka Vega, was born on February 27, 1990. They were a competitor on Drag Den. Eto, malamang sa malamang oo. Born on March 28, 1945, Rodrigo Duterte is a Filipino lawyer and politician who held the office of the 16th President of the Philippines from 2016 to 2022. He is also known by the nicknames Digong, Rodi, and by the initials Duterte and PRRD. At 71, Duterte is the oldest president to take office in the Philippines and the first person from Mindanao to hold the position. Pero, ano nga bang koneksyon ng mga personalidad na ito para sa ating biyaheng sosyo ngayong araw? Pero, bagong lahat, magpapakilala muna ako. Ako nga pala si Miguel, ang iyong sosyo buddy ngayong araw. Saan nga ba tutungo ang biyaheng sosyo with 2-1? Ngayong araw, daraan tayo sa mga estasyong conflict theory, functionalist theory, symbolic interactionist theory, at papayaw din nating madadaanan ang mga pananaw ni Weber. Oh, huwag kay kabahan. Andito naman ako to guide and explain things out every step of the way. Simulan natin ang biyahe sa panonood ng clip ni Pura Luka Vega na nag-viral at kumalap ng iba't ibang reaksyon sa iba't ibang komunidad at institusyon sa Pilipinas. I do have a feeling that you might have seen this already. So, this video mastered an uproar to certain communities, especially the religious sector. Bakit? Madaming nagalit dahil daw ay ginawang katatawanan ni Pura ang isang sagrado at banal na gawain. At talagang ginamit pa nga ang isang prayer na Ama Namin at ginawa ng performance na di umano ay not respectful to the believers, to their God, and to their belief as a whole. This escalated so fast and so big that Pura Luka Vega has and is still facing criminal charges. And what are these charges? Ayon sa Manila Times, drag artist Pura Luka Vega is facing new criminal charges for allegedly offending religious feelings and violating the cybercrime law in connection with a series of videos posted on social media, including their controversial Ama Namin performance. In claiming that Vega's performance was offensive, Miguel Zubiri cited Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code, which penalizes immoral doctrines, obscene publications and exhibitions, and indecent shows. 6 counts of violation of Article 133 by offending religious feelings, Sections 2B3 and 2B5 of Article 201 of immoral doctrines of obscene publications of the RPC, Section 6 of Republic Act 10175, the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. I'd like to discuss this further, but this is Biyaheng Sosyo. Ito ang mga hinaharap ni Pura sa legal field at ang bashing at even death threats sa iba't ibang sektor ng Pilipinas. Ngayon, tunghayan naman natin ang iilang video clips ni former President Duterte.
So kinain ni Adam, then malice was born. Who is this stupid God? Stupido talaga itong putang akong ganun. Kayo what is your moral ascendancy in the Philippines? Religion? What is the meaning of it? Hindi kayo nakakatulong. Daldal kayo ng daldal.
I challenge you now. I challenge the Catholic Church. You are full of shit at mabaho rin kayo.
Bakit kaya may criminal charges si Pura? Ginawa pang persona non grata sa ibang mga syudad, habang si Duterte ay hindi. Kahit pinapakita sa clips, previously ang kanyang lantaran na disrespect sa religion. Ngayon, magtungo na tayo sa dakong sosyolohiya. Paano nga ba nakikita mula sa lente ng sociology ang mga pangyayaring ito? Conflict theory. Karl Marx originated the theory of conflict, which holds that society is constantly at odds with itself over scarce resources. According to conflict theory, dominance and power, rather than agreement and compliance, maintain social order. Conflict theory holds that people in positions of money and power will do all in their power to maintain them, primarily by oppressing the weak and destitute. Conflict theory's fundamental tenet is that people would cooperate to try to maximize their personal wealth and influence within society. In this sociological lens, we can see multiple conflicts actually. First, would be the way people perceive or their stereotypes in gender. Second, the power and or these personalities have. How? Let me break down this to you bits by bits.
These are the facts as you can see on the table presented. On the second column, this shows for Pura Luka Vega, and for the third column, it shows Rodrigo Duterte. For the second row, it shows their genders, and for the third row, it shows their work or status. It says here that Pura Luka Vega is gay and works as a drag queen, and Rodrigo Duterte is a man and is a former president. As we know it, the Philippines is a Christian-dominated country and where, inevitably, conservative Christians are present who still believe that being homosexual, bisexual, or basically not being a straight man or woman is a sin. May biro ngang patuloy na ginagamit to date na ang ginawaran ng Panginoon ay Adam and Eve at hindi Adam and Steve.
Second, si Pura Luka Vega ay lalaking nagbibihis bae upang mag-perform. A drag queen. On the other side of the coin, Duterte is a former president. The position holds high regard by both non-believers and believers. His previous position in the Philippine Republic is basically the highest position anyone can attain in the country state-wise. Using the functionalist lens of sociology, it goes to show that the presidency functions to serve the country, which is basically every Filipino people. While being a drag performance function is to merely entertain audiences by their lip sync and dance performance. The former trumps the latter on the scope of importance and function it plays in the larger society. In accordance, gamitin naman natin ang symbolic interactionist theory ng sosyolohiya. What is symbolic interactionist theory? Symbolic interaction perspective is a sociological theory that aims to explain how people relate to their society by emphasizing the symbols that enable us to interpret the meaning of our experiences. Social scientists view symbolic interactionist theory as a foundation for developing theories that view human interactions in daily life as the source of society. This theory focuses on how social interactions and people's interpretations of their relationships with others give meaning to objects around them. So, kayo, ano sa palagay nyo ang sinisimbolo ni Duterte? At ano naman kay Pura? You may pause this video to think for a moment and think of how these people play in the symbolic interactionist world. Few years ago, Duterte was literally the face of the country. For others, Duterte is a father figure who protects the country and its people. For the die-hard Duterte supporters, otherwise known as DDS, to some extent, he is often regarded to be the perfect president, comparable to a saint or a god even. A perfect human. Their numbers grew and fluctuated throughout the years of his tenure. This group of people are on an echo chamber for years and is still counting, turning a blind eye to his unethical, immoral, and judicial slips of the said personality. For Pura, they are just regarded as merely a performer. When the issue came into existence, they were synecdochally the LGBTQIA+ community. However, even in the queer community, Pura is still facing backlash since there are queer individuals whose belief outshines their sexuality. Why? Sa bansang religion has spread since childhood, it is imposed and is even forced in some households. However, intersectionality and how religion is spread is a topic for another biyaheng sosyo. So ngayon, let's circle back on conflict theory. Conflict theory further solidifies the struggle of power due to intersectionalities of an individual like herein, religion, and gender. That's why Duterte, a straight man, a former president, regarded as the nation's father, has more supporters than Pura, who belongs to the minority because of being queer, even more a cross-dresser, and a mere drag queen performer. Weber viewed power as not only having control of the means of production. He stated that people in power should also hold prestige and party or connections to the states. We may also integrate the reality that opposing Rodrigo Duterte when it comes to his religious viewpoints, or even to the extent of penalizing him for his bigotry, is a moot point. Mahirap kalabanin ang taong may pera, status, and connection to the state, lalo na pag-presidente. Whereas, for Pura Luka Vega, mas madali siyang i-penalize kasi wala naman siya nung tatlong yun. Pura Luka Vega is a drag performer representing the minority group of LGBTQ+ people in the Philippines. Mas madali nga naman talagang mabigyan ng justice yung injustice done to you by small people than those who are deemed untouchable. O teka, hinga muna tayo onte. Sobrang toksalat ako, di ba? Palapit na tayo sa dulo ng biyaheng sosyong ito. Kaya't, bago tayo magtapos, let's have a recap of what we have talked about muna. Ngayong araw, tinignan natin kung bakit Pura Luka Vega, a drag artist, is being condemned for actions perceived to be tantamount to disrespect of the sacred. Rodrigo Duterte is not treated in the same manner. Tinignan natin ang issue na ito sa pamamagitan ng sociological lenses. Conflict theory. Dito, nakita natin ang conflict and preference that is widely accepted as a norm in the Philippine society. Majority trumps individual coming from the minority. Second, a Christian-dominated country still has the reservations and the pursuing beliefs that consciously or subconsciously still deems queer people and queer activities as sinful and acts of evil. Third would be intersectionality. Even in the minority group of the LGBTQIA+ community, the intersectionality of gender and religion plays a role. That even if you are a queer, you might still not side with Pura because your religion upstages your sexuality. Accordingly, we also discussed the Weberian view of power, that Pura Luka Vega is easier to penalize than Rodrigo Duterte because the latter has pera, status, and connection to the state. Functionalist and symbolic interactionist theory. These lenses show that how those two individuals function and are seen as a symbol in the country greatly varies from one to the other. One functions as the head of the state, and one functions as merely a mere performer. Rodrigo Duterte is literally the symbol and somewhat the father of the state, while Pura was a private individual who haven't made an impact to create a symbol for themselves. Ngayon, at tapos ng diskusyon, may pabaon akong tanong sa inyo na sana ay makapukaw sa inyong mga isipan. As you can all see this on TikTok recently that people are dancing to this trend called Kampana sa Simbahan. And even sacristans are doing this in a sacred holy place in chapels and churches. So using the sociological lenses that we have used today, how can you make sense of this? Is this valid? Is this blasphemy? Or is this something the church should not allow? Or is this allowable because they are straight men? Salamat sa pagsama sa Biyaheng Sosyo with 21. It was a fun ride ka, Sosyo. This has been Miguel, your Sosyo buddy. Paalam at muli, ilagay sa isip at puso, gamitin ang karunungan mula sa iyo para sa bayan.